Hey, it's Janelle Waz, and welcome back to another episode of Waz Reviews. Star Trek Voyager.
Coffee first.
The fourth Star Trek show that chronicles the adventures of Captain Janeway and her Starfleet Maquis crew as they make their way back home after being stranded in the Delta Quadrant. But among all those unnecessary side quests, sightseeing, and detours that Voyager took throughout their tenure, surely there's room for a video game in Voyager's story, right? Well, of course! Star Trek Voyager Elite Force is a first-person shooter game for PC, Mac, and PS2. It was initially released in September of the year 2000, just before Voyager's 7th and final season. Today, I'm playing the PS2 version, which was ported a year later, but I hear the PC version is the better version of the game. Nevertheless, Elite Force focuses on the never-mentioned-in-the-show Hazard Team and its members, not entirely unlike the Star Trek Next Generation episode Lower Decks. Only I have to say, I like Elite Force a lot more than Lower Decks. Sorry, Next Gen, I still love you. So, what adventures and Delta Quadrant weirdness is in store for the Hazard Team? Well, get your coffee out of the nebula, your burnt pot roast out of the replicator, and all the pepperoni you can find. We're playing Star Trek Voyager Elite Force.
We're Starfleet officers. Weird is part of the job.
We open on a menu with an LCARS interface and a nice map of the galaxy. See, we're around here on the map, while everything else is going on over here. And a little bit over here, too. The menu offers a few choices, like New Game, Holo Match for multiplayer mode, and in-game crew bios. Wait a minute, Dr. Janeway? You mean she could have had Captain Dr. Catherine Janeway, PhD, on all her passports, but she still sticks to Captain? Nice. Starting a new game gives you the option to select game difficulty, the gender of your character, and if you want to play the tutorial. I selected normal since I figured that's what the game developers intended the game to be played, and female because I'm a lady! Plus, every video I see of Elite Force usually features the male character. The tutorial gives you a breakdown of the controls of the game and about how to move about the levels. It also gives you an opportunity to goof on Tuvok.
It was designed for maximum flexibility in the field. Now, remember, Ensign, this is a holodeck simulation. You cannot be truly hurt here, enemies. You will need to use your rifle and recharge it, utilizing energy terminals like the one you just used.
But now that we know how the game is played, let's begin the story.
On Stardate 48315.6, the USS Voyager was transported beyond our control, 70,000 light-years across the galaxy to the Delta Quadrant.
Captain Janeway, voiced by Kate Mulgrew, does the introduction, basically talking about how Voyager ended up in the Delta Quadrant, and that Tuvok assembled the Hazard Team for more dangerous situations that they can't risk the main cast or even the Red Shirts on. Yeah, the Red Shirts outrank us now. We have become the Red Shirts. We play as Ensign Alex Monroe, either Alexander if male, or Alexandria if female, second in command of the Hazard Team. And what's the Hazard Team's first mission?
Ambushing a couple of Bolians!
Nope, we're in a Borg cube. We were beamed over there with the iMod, a 7 of 9 concocted weapon, which the Borg stole from us. And as Monroe, we've been separated from the team and have to rescue them.
They appear to be trapped in the tertiary power modulation chamber.
Acknowledged. Tertiary what?
Oh, we're in great hands today. But on the plus side, the Borg aren't actively attacking us. Yet. Kinda like in Next Gen's Best of Both Worlds, the Borg don't consider you a threat and are fine with you just walking around. For the time being.
What are you looking at, Cadet?
Nevertheless, I went around disabling them as I made my way through the Borg cube. The level is pretty straightforward. It's not like a maze where there are different paths to take, you just keep going forward until you find your crew.
Monroe! My savior. Get the iMod. It's on that table.
What, just pick it up in front of that guy? Alright, if you say so. Well, thanks a lot, Beesman!
Monroe, get me out of here!
I'm a little busy here!
Thanks, Monroe. Let's go.
Yeah, thanks, Monroe. So Beesman here and I go through the Borg cube helping out our team when we happen upon a blue force field. Okay, that doesn't sound too hard, and there's an elevator here. Let's go, bees!
I'd come with you if I had an iMod, but, let's say I stay here and hold down the fort.
Coward.
Hey, Monroe, if you're not back in 5 minutes, I'm not going in after you.
Yeah, I'd expect no less out of you. Why the hell is this guy on our team?
Hey, the force field's down. What the? Nice work, Monroe. Get back up here. Some Borg just beamed in and they're...
Well, well, well. Bet you wish you came along with me when you had the chance, don't ya? Beesman is nowhere to be found. Well, it's not like he was helping me with the Borg anyways. I'll just fight off these Borg by myself, as usual. And I make my way through the cube, rescuing whatever crewmen I can find before falling to my death. Your judgment leaves much to be desired. Yeah, that's right, the game roasts you for dying. But luckily, you can save and reload anywhere in the game. Eventually, I ran into the other teammates, including Chell! You remember Chell, right? From like 2 episodes in the show? Yeah, okay, maybe not, but still, I appreciate the attention to detail. Monroe makes her way to the control panel and finds that it doesn't work.
We don't have time for this.
So she decides to Han Solo her way through this situation.
Boring conversation anyway.
Wait, the dog!
Oh no, we're dead!
I told you.
As it turns out, this was all a holodeck program, and the safeties were still functioning, unlike other Star Trek episodes. Tuvok arrives and proceeds to roast Monroe.
Ms. Monroe, your tactical approach was, shall we say, tactless.
Nice going, Monroe.
Hey, I didn't see you helping! So Monroe decides to take it up with Tuvok.
How was I supposed to know the panel would explode?
Don't touch what you don't understand.
Tuvok, of course, launches into a lecture about procedure, but Monroe presses the issue, blah blah blah, Kobayashi Maru, you know the story. And then Chakotay calls all hands to battle stations. Voyager is under attack and, oh my. These graphics did not age well. Look, I can be lenient when it comes to older graphics, and yes, the character models do kinda look like their real-life counterparts, but considering what games around this time were capable of, it's not the nicest looking game. I mean, Harry's face looks like it's pasted on, 7 of 9's figure is competing with Lara Croft over here while her face looks all jagged, and Janeway, I'm not sure what's going on with Janeway's face. It makes me wonder what a modded version of this game would look like, or even an officially upgraded release. Oh well, it was the early 2000s. But anyways, Voyager answered a distress signal, and now things are exploding on the bridge. Basically a typical day on Voyager. Or the NX Enterprise, if I'm being honest. Voyager somehow winds up transported for the 2nd time to some unknown location. Caretaker, is that you? But where are we exactly? What location in space are we at this moment?
Until repairs are made, it may be difficult to ascertain exactly where here is.
I picked a bad day to stop sniffing coffee. And like any Star Trek episode, the intro plays at this point. That's not Voyager's theme. It's like the copyright-free version of Voyager's theme. It's enough to sound like Voyager without it actually being Voyager, all while the visuals from the TV show's intro stay the same. It's a tad jarring, but it's a nice song for all the crap I'm giving it, so it's not a complete loss. I just wonder what copyright issues they were running into. Huh.
Captain's log, stardate 53854.7. Voyager was attacked by an unknown force and transported to some kind of Starship graveyard.
I have to give this game credit. So far the game definitely feels like a Star Trek episode, complete with Janeway's captain's log and the episode title flashing on screen. The game makers put effort into making this game feel like a Voyager episode, and it's not going unnoticed. Back on the bridge, B'Elanna calls and says a warp core breach is imminent, and since we're already wearing a hazard suit, Janeway orders us to engineering. But B'Elanna can wait. I'm doing some exploring.
Keep trying, Ensign, and see
I'm a
if
little busy right
communications
now,
are back
Alex.
online.
Ensign Monroe, I believe the captain ordered you to go to engineering.
Yeah, in a minute, Tuvok. I haven't even had a chance to look in Janeway's ready room since Star Trek Captain's Chair.
Ensign, the captain gave you a direct order.
But I don't want to go to engineering. I want to bother Seven.
If you're here to fraternize, I do not have the time.
Oh, fine. Party poopers. Of course, making my way to engineering is tougher than I would have thought, considering there are explosions, plenty of debris to climb over, and I have to save everyone I run across. Well, I don't have to, but I want to save everybody. Not to mention the toxic liquid all over the floor of this room. I tell you, when Voyager takes a beating.
Monroe, what took you so long? We've got a warp core breach in progress.
Well, I'm sorry. I was making goo-goo eyes at Chakotay. Well, better shut down the warp core and save the entire ship.
Access denied. Monroe, I just remembered. You're going to need the access code to cut the power relays.
Well, that would have been nice to know yesterday.
Warp core offline. Core breach averted.
Good job, Ensign.
Thank you, thank you. No applause, no applause.
Ensign, are you blind? Or are you trying to sabotage engineering by wasting my time?
You're welcome! But things are about to go from bad to worse because now there are intruders. Personally, I stay a safe distance away from the intruders and take care of them that way. Or there's always the option to go behind enemy lines for a surprise attack. Either way, this part isn't too hard, and before long, the intruders leave. Now, you would think these guys would have a clever name, right? After all, they're an alliance that's going around pirating stuff from other ships, right? Maybe like a cool pirate name or something? Nope, they're the Scavengers.
A bit of a cliche, but true nonetheless.
Basically, Voyager is trapped with a bunch of other ships.
Like the Tarkana's gravity well. 247 ships have been lost there.
Or the Bermuda Triangle, back on Earth.
Like putting too much air in a balloon.
Perhaps.
Tuvok's got a bright idea, though. Stealing from other ships. Well, more like stealing information. And that's what we're going to do next. Don't worry, though, the ship is abandoned.
Like a ghost ship.
Yeah.
Beesman. Okay, now we have our run of the ship, or at least this section of it. To be honest, I always get lost on Voyager, usually running into every door until one opens and hope that's where I needed to go. I know the corridors and starships tend to look the same, but gee whiz. Alright, ready to beam over. But of course, this ship is not empty. Yeah, this entire level is fighting off these flying butterfly dragons? And then watching them slowly pick off your teammates.
Telsia!
We'll be in the back.
Heads up! Hey, Chow! I'm gonna jump! Catch me!
Stow it, crewman.
Go ahead. Jump, Beesman. I dare you. You make your way through a good chunk of this level with only Chell, the picture of calmness and serenity.
Not so good for our very first away mission, huh?
Keep it together, Chell.
Luckily, we eventually meet up with our commanding officer, Lieutenant Foster, who managed to escape an alien attack. We reach the alien's main computer before meeting one of them face to face, which, I have to say, ends the level in the most Voyager way possible.
You invade us, believed you were the others, tried to contact you. Communication methods very different. You attack us.
They were trying to communicate?
Yep. Even though their first response wasn't to approach us and say, hey, could you not steal our crap? But instead to attack us, they were just trying to communicate. Although we did break into their ship to steal information, so kinda justified? Still, for a Voyager story, I buy it. And the good news is that everyone is still alive, in fact, better than ever! The Etherians here put them in stasis and healed them. And you know what? They're in the same boat as us. They too are trapped here and have been here for 25 years.
Request and receive. We are allies.
Say, thanks, friend. Hey, can you help me move this weekend? But we're beaming back and Chell isn't soiling himself. This time. We beam into Sickbay, Foster gives us some instructions, the doc tells Chell he has hemorrhoids.
I don't care if your hemorrhoids are chronic, there are no medical deferments.
And the doc heals us and offers us some cream.
Your injuries seem to be rather superficial. Dermal regeneration will not be necessary, though you have some mild skin irritation. Perhaps you would like an analgesic cream?
We have a run of Sickbay as the doc cures the rest of the hazard team, so naturally I follow him around as he hums and sings.
I've been working on the railroad all the livelong day. I've been working on the railroad just to pass the time away.
Not gonna lie, I love this little callback to Virtuoso.
I've been working on the railroad all the livelong day.
So glad you can join us, Monroe. Chakotay's leading this next briefing and gives us the name to the space station keeping us here. The Forge, not to be confused with the Vulcan Forge or even Geordi LaForge. Apparently, it's home to a dampening field, so we're tasked with collecting isodesium, which is unaffected by the field, so B'Elanna can use it to fix the ship and maybe get us out of here. Unfortunately, it's located here.
The Scavenger's base of operations.
So we have to go there and steal the isodesium from the Scavengers.
We're a bit outnumbered here, so we've opted for stealth infiltration and retrieval operation.
Oh boy. Here's the thing. I'm not so great at stealth missions.
I prefer a straight fight to all this sneaking around.
So let's stall for a little while.
Commander.
If you need to discuss something, you can find me in my office later.
Vulcans love it when you yank real hard on their ears. Some Vulcan pain ritual thing. Trust me. Try it. Tuvok will have an all-new respect for you.
Hey, Chakotay, guess what Beesman and Chell are planning to do to Tuvok?
I'm sorry, Ensign. I don't have time to talk right now.
Fine. Well, might as well head over to the shuttle bay.
Wang to Paris. I'm down below.
Hey, anything to avoid going on that stealth mission, am I right?
I should have known that you would not be able to maintain proper procedure.
Okay, for real this time. So after running around trying to repair the shuttle docking clamps, Tom shuttles us over to the Scavenger base.
Tom Paris at your service. I will be your captain for this flight. This is your captain speaking. The in-flight movie will be Captain Proton versus the Robo-Zombies.
I have to say that I love how the main cast is in this game. They're written and act like they do in the show, and it's a major plus that the actors from the show provide the voiceovers for their characters. It really helps make the game feel like Star Trek Voyager. But now we're at the Scavenger base, floating precariously outside in our hazard suits, which I guess are the same as the EV suits now? Wouldn't Voyager have EV suits? Like, how are the hazard suits that look like the regular uniform also EV suits? I have questions. Well, no time for questions. We have to be stealthy, so shh.
Monroe, what's going on down there? You're supposed to avoid detection.
Yeah, I probably spent more than enough time trying to be stealthy in this level. I mean, sure, I could have gone in phasers a-blazing, but I want to play this game right. If you're supposed to be stealthy, I'm gonna try to be stealthy.
Filthy creature!
My card.
While we're here, let's talk about some of the problem solving in this game. For the most part, the game isn't too difficult to figure out. Like the first level, levels aren't built like a maze that you have to explore in order to escape. You pretty much keep going forward, confront enemies, and flip whatever switches you need to open the door in front of you. But sometimes you enter a room and you know you're supposed to be on the upper level, but you just can't make it up there. You're jumping on boxes, making stupid jumps, but all to no avail. And then you realize there's a stupid platform hanging precariously above you, and that's what you need to shoot down in order to get up to the top. And then you feel like an idiot for wasting a half an hour in this stupid room. There aren't too many moments like this in this game, but the ones that are there are frustrating and make looking up a walkthrough very tempting. But let's get back to the mission.
This area looks like a Federation ship, early 23rd century.
Ooh, one of the ships from Kirk's time? This game has everything! Hey, the isodesium! I can reach it! Why can't I reach it? It's so close! I could just grab it through that hole! Oh my gosh. Fine. There, you happy? The entire mission is collecting isodesium, and yeah, I gave up on stealth a long time ago. I collected all my isodesium and I'm ready to go back home, right? Wrong, because now I have to pick up everyone else's slack.
Yes, sir. I was ambushed. I still have to get one more sample of the isodesium.
And we're supposed to be an elite force? More like a B-elite force? Yeah, I got nothing.
I found the last piece of isodesium. There's a huge bay between us.
Okay, I'm here. I see the controls.
So now we have to rescue our teammate and friend Telsia because Monroe feels bad about her being vaporized on the Etherean's ship, I guess? Oh no. Oh no. This game really does have everything. So, we're in a mirror universe ship, and I hate the mirror universe. Like, I skip mirror universe episodes in my Star Trek rewatches. I do not like them. Of course, everyone is asleep on the ship, so it's time to be super mature.
Mister, it's nothing personal. Butt shot.
So, yeah, don't do that. Tuvok will be disappointed! Yeah, but it's worth it!
Nice going, hotshot.
So we make our way through the Mirror Universe ship, with unsettling blood splatters on the floor and fighting off huge cockroaches. Just to rescue Telsia, all while, you guessed it, being stealthy. Eventually, Monroe decides that she's vastly outnumbered, and if you can't beat them, dress like them and pretend you have authority to move about the ship. Yeah, you can't wear a midriff as Alexander, Monroe. See what you fellas are missing? Now I can walk around this ship dressed like Fran Fine with a rifle, and nobody can say anything about it. We drug the Mirror Universe doctor, rescue Telsia, and Monroe has a plan to escape.
You'll have to pretend to be my prisoner.
Oh, come on, Monroe. That's the oldest one in the book.
Wait. Who are you?
I don't think your prisoner trick is going to work this time.
It didn't work the first time.
Monroe decides to put on an obviously fake voice and just BS her way through the rest of the mission.
The captain sent me down to check things out.
Cover me.
Surrender or die.
I mean, it worked, but it was a tad sloppy. Of course, this isn't the end of this section, as there's a boss fight with a Hirogen. He gives us a gun for defeating him because honor, and we get the hell out of here. But not before the Borg beam in and steal our isodesium and Foster. So, not exactly the best second assignment. And of course, the rest of the team has to guilt trip me as well.
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying someone must be to blame.
Man, this sucks. This wasn't supposed to happen. How'd the Borg get here? We gotta teach him not to mess with Starfleet. For Ken.
Rick, look. We can't just go over to a Borg ship for revenge.
I will make them pay for what they've done.
We're not gonna make it out of here!
Well, better get on with... Oh, crap.
You are next in line for command of the hazard team.
Well, I guess things worked out pretty well then, after all.
We are going to infiltrate the Borg cube.
From rule of acquisition number 285, no good deed ever goes unpunished.
But at least Seven is coming along, and yes, that is Jerry Ryan providing her voice for Seven in the PS2 version of the game, where in initial copies of the game, she did not. The plan is to steal the isodesium from the Borg.
And Foster?
Monroe, you've already got the promotion. We beam over from Voyager, leaving angry beesmen behind us.
You're gonna need me to help eliminate some Borg. No offense, man.
None taken.
Dismissed.
Monroe, come on.
I said dismissed.
That's a Starfleet expression for get out.
Now, if you're thinking this Borg mission is going to be like the first one, let me just say it's completely different. That first mission was a holodeck program. But for real, since we're pretty far into the game, this mission is harder. Borg will shoot at you now, your teammates can die for real.
He's dead, Monroe.
And there's a little more problem solving required. But we have to do what we came here to do. Rescue Foster! Oh, and the isodesium, yeah, sure. You can fail to rescue Foster and still win the game, but do we really need Gerard guilt-tripping us the rest of the game?
Monroe, please. This is your chance to make things right.
We're beaming him directly to Sickbay.
Good work.
You did the right thing.
We continue blasting our way through the Borg cube until we find the primary sub-processing matrix.
Whoa! What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm with Monroe on this. What the hell are you doing, Seven? How? I mean, how is this a good idea? Seven finds out that the Borg encountered the species who are responsible for bringing everyone here. The Harvesters.
The Harvester's resistance quotient is extremely high.
A species even the Borg are afraid of?
Oh, great.
Seven does extract the information we need, but...
Seven?
I am sorry. I was distracted.
Oh, yeah, that's a good sign. Maybe stop sticking your hand into weird data ports! Even Monroe's like, we're dead, aren't we? Running around the cube some more, and...
We are the Borg.
Lo and behold, Seven sticking her hand into that data port was a terrible idea. Who could have predicted that? So the Borg are negotiating through Seven, kinda like with how many nanoprobe species have done with Data over the years. Basically, the Borg have a species 8472 problem, who also stole the isodesium. So if we can take care of species 8472, we are free to walk.
I don't like where this is heading.
You have only two options. Accept or be assimilated.
And this is the point in the game where it starts to feel less like Star Trek and more like Aliens. Although I never saw Aliens, nor do I have any intention because I really hate horror movies. But from what I've gathered of all the parodies, this is what it feels like. And I have to say, I'm not liking it. One of the things that set Star Trek apart from other sci-fi stories was its philosophical nature. Yes, there were action sequences in Star Trek, but most of it was thought-provoking and trying to find peaceful diplomatic solutions, something other Star Trek games have done. Not that there's not a place for action sci-fi within Star Trek, but when Elite Force does this, it just doesn't feel like Star Trek, which up to this point, the game did a decent job of doing. Heck, even fighting all the Etherians to find out that nobody was killed felt more like Star Trek than this. But I digress. Yay, we found the isodesium! And of course the Borg double-cross us.
Wait a minute. We negotiated. We had a deal.
I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
Why does this not surprise me?
Because nobody is surprised by this! But at least there was a backup plan. And we still have to fight our way out. But we have the isodesium! Yay! We're forced to do a little holodeck time and end up in the mess hall where we overhear some interesting conversations.
No, this is great. What is it?
Pie.
What kind of pie?
Oh, just pie?
What kind of pie?
Lornax grub roach pie. Have a nice meal.
Ugh.
Of course, all of this is interrupted by a rather unsettling sight. Floating garbage!
Nah, that's debris.
No, it's getting closer. Look!
You're right. What do you think it is?
I don't know.
It looks like some kind of ship.
Time for another meeting! We've got donuts, coffee, and hopefully a plan to prevent our impending doom.
The most logical presumption would be that the Forge has sent a harvester to disassemble Voyager.
No disassemble!
Basically, the harvester ship comes, tears apart ships, steals equipment and crew, and it's a bad day all around. Harry gets the idea to hijack another ship that happens to have a big gun.
Sounds like a giant cannon on autopilot.
After a briefing, and Chell being, well, Chell.
If you see a light at the end of the wormhole, it's probably a photon torpedo.
We head over to the gunship and, I don't know, I'm getting some Babylon 5 vibes from this ship, and not just because of the poorly aged graphics. We beam into a low-gravity environment with no power. Tuvok, of course, volunteers us to turn the lights on. And I spent a stupid amount of time trying to get to the upper level. Even flying out the hull breach because I ran out of ideas. Don't do this, by the way. Most of this mission is working your way through the ship with debris and automated security robots getting in the way. And it turns out there was a live crew at some point that met up with the harvesters and... well, listen for yourself. Of course, things go from annoying to irritating when the gun itself has to be loaded manually, and once again, Tuvok volunteers me. That's right, go run through the robo-death ship a little bit more. I also love how impatient Tuvok gets. Like, I have a bunch of turrets gunning for me, and he's all...
Ensign, time is of the essence.
I know!
Jeez, Mr. Vulcan, patience is a virtue. The harvester ship can wait! And the gunship only makes a dent in the harvester ship, and we've got bugs anyway.
My card.
We go through Voyager with something stronger than a can of Raid to repel the harvester attack. I told him to wash his gym socks. Well, I could just stay up here and clean out this room, right? Oh, crap. These men coming to my rescue! But the attack has been repelled. Oh, Ensign! I just found a new source of meat for the mess hall. You're gonna love it.
Any later and we might have been a harvester snack.
Oh no, Tuvok was stuck with Neelix during this whole thing. That's hilarious. Now it's time for another meeting. B'Elanna has the ship working, but she can't guarantee we'll get out safely. Monroe wants to fight the harvesters while everyone just wants to get the hell out of here.
Maybe you weren't paying attention just now, but we're doing our best to get out of here.
Monroe steals some of Neelix's talking points, Tom contributes to the conversation.
What are we supposed to do without engines and weapons? Drift over there and use harsh language?
And Janeway makes a motivational speech in true Voyager fashion. We can't just get out of here, we gotta stop the Forge. By sneaking over there in a Trojan horse. No, really, that's the plan. Use the harvester ship to sneak into the Forge and then have everyone attack in shuttles. Did you enjoy that unintentional spacewalk from earlier? Well, get ready for more death-defying stunts! What color shirt were you wearing? Hey! The Forge also has a massive bug problem. I will say this, most Trek villains tend to be humanoid, but credit to this game for doing something different. Of course, it also means there are even scarier bugs about. And they put up one hell of a fight. We managed to shut down the defense grid so the ships can start coming over. Yeah, that's right, Chell basically Ben Kenobi's his way through this. Oh, those pods don't look good.
Hello? Hello? Hey, ugly! Wake up!
And we're under attack.
This is it! I knew it! We're done for! Come on! Come on! Bring it! Bring it on! Let's go! You're not so tough!
In one last heroic effort, Beesman gives his life so his teammates could live. I take back some of the crap I said about you, Bees. And look who's coming at the nick of time to save the day. No, it's Chakotay, Tuvok, and Seven, here to save the day. But not for Beesman.
The good of the many outweighs the needs of the few.
Or the one.
He will be missed, but we must continue with our operation.
Now to shut down the generator. But even creepier enemies are attacking us now. I swear, this game feels like a horror game at times.
This shaft, it's full of those monsters. There must be thousands of them stored there.
And now the villain of the story finally reveals himself. It certainly took you long enough. Heck, he doesn't even appear. He's just doing all this telepathically. Talk about your lazy villains. Basically, the Harvesters, which are actually called the Vorsoth, yeah, that's right, the game does a name change when the game's almost over, have abducted and genetically spliced together an entire army of these super soldiers called Reavers, the most generic name ever, and plan on taking over the entire galaxy. Why?
No! We will stop you!
Oh, come on, Monroe, say it like you mean it! But mid-sentence, Gerard cuts off the head jerk because she's Betazoid and can do that. So there is a point to having a Betazoid around. Monroe compares the Vorsoth to the Borg, and Seven gets a little offended.
Correction. The Borg seek only perfection. These Vorsoth seek to annihilate all lesser beings and dominate whole galaxies.
Finally, the generator! Well, just gotta hit this and we can get out of here. And the Vorsoth aren't exactly happy we ruined their station, but, oh well. We're about to leave and we get yet another telepathic message. It's your typical, you can't stop us, our plan is already in motion. We're launching a sea forge and there'll be thousands of us to conquer your galaxy. Ha ha ha! Villain speech where the villain reveals his entire plan. Which knocks Gerard out. Everyone's all, come on Alex, we gotta get out of here, the whole station's gonna blow. But Monroe's all, nah, I'm going on my own, I gotta stop the Vorsoth. All by myself. Not that your teammates did much to help you in the first place. Sorry, but it's true. Meanwhile, Tuvok's all, Ms. Monroe, you are violating direct orders. And he may have a point. I mean, if we blow up the forge before the seed even launches, that's it. No more forge or forge seed. What's Monroe's plan? Stop the head jerk from pressing the button? What is your plan, Monroe? Monroe finds herself in an arena? How many Star Trek episodes does this feel like? The head Vorsoth gets into his origin story, and it doesn't really answer much of anything. Basically, they were programmed to create lots of forges over thousands of years to conquer the galaxy. Monroe's all, maybe you guys were explorers and not conquerors. But no, this is the final boss fight, which involves fighting off the various enemies you've encountered at the forge, and finally the head Vorsoth. You get a lot of ammo and health for this boss, which is nice, but you shouldn't go wasting it either, since you can start to run low. But what's this? The Ethereans! Thanks, guys! Can you still help me move this weekend? Basically, the Ethereans stopped the seed. Why couldn't they have done this instead of my dumb butt Leroy Jenkinsing through this whole thing? Monroe has the opportunity to leave with the Ethereans, but...
No.
What are you staying for? The guy is already mad, you're just hanging around for him to kill you! Idiot! You run around the arena, throwing everything you got at the Vorsoth as he taunts you endlessly until...
He wept because there were no more worlds to conquer.
The station is falling apart, but Monroe is rescued at the last second. Probably for a court-martial because, again, she did violate direct orders. Voyager destroys the forge, and all the ships get to go home. Except Voyager, there's still another season of the show. But now we're even closer to the Alpha Quadrant. Yay!
So, we gained a few months. Not bad.
Time to start sniffing coffee again. Everyone congratulates Monroe, especially Tuvok, with the most heartfelt words possible.
Your performance was quite satisfactory.
Thanks, Tuv. I love you too. After a quick trip to Sickbay, Monroe finds herself staring out into space in the mess hall.
Any for your thoughts?
I hate Brenda.
Monroe feels guilty over the deaths of those under her command during this ordeal, but Telsia gives her some words of encouragement. They really come across like a couple of good friends here. Janeway arrives and we find out that Monroe got herself a promotion. Say hello to Lieutenant Monroe.
I didn't notice a little box on my chair.
Though Tuvok isn't going to let her forget about disobeying orders and all that. Even though she probably saved the galaxy.
You all performed bravely.
Tuvok is proud of you.
Why, Tuvok? Is that a bit of pride I detect?
Surely, Captain. There is no cause to insult me.
And the whole game ends on some laughter as Voyager continues its way back home. And that's Star Trek Voyager Elite Force, and it's an okay game. I'm not a big fan of first-person shooter games. Heck, I'm not even that big of a Voyager fan. Though don't get me wrong, I do like Voyager. But this is a decent Voyager game. It's a big plus having the cast voice their characters, and the characters act like they do on the show. The Hazard team serves as decent enough characters, though I think I would have preferred playing as someone in the main Voyager cast. Nevertheless, the Hazard team is made up of characters that fit within the Star Trek universe, so I can't complain too much. The game's plot really does come across like a Lost Voyager episode, or even the Voyager movie we never got, and when this game feels like Star Trek, it's a great Star Trek experience. However, it's the second half of the game where it wanders away from that Star Trek feel and feels closer to Aliens or some kind of sci-fi horror game, which I'm not a fan of. Still, credit where credit is due. This game does stuff that you probably couldn't do with a TV budget, like spacewalks or fighting off hordes of strange non-humanoid aliens. The game's graphics haven't aged well, with the characters looking like boxy, angular versions of their lifelike selves, and the PS2 controls aren't the greatest, making me suspect that the PC version is indeed the better version. But at the same time, it's not a bad experience, and if you're a Voyager fan and this is your kind of game, you can probably get some mileage with multiple playthroughs. For me, I'm happy it's in my collection, but I don't see myself replaying this game a whole lot. But as far as Star Trek games go, this is one of the good ones. It's not too easy, not too hard for the average gamer, but you'll probably want some video game experience before you tackle this one. Give it a try on your PS2 or purchase it from GOG. So what do you think? Have you played Star Trek Voyager Elite Force? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What system did you play it on? PC or PS2? Please leave a comment below and discuss. As always, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Waz Reviews. If you like what you see, why not give my video a like and subscribe to my channel? Tell your friends! Until next time...
Vulcans do not make small talk.